Good morning, everyone. It's Wednesday, March 3rd. From the San Antonio Express News, my name is Luis Vasquez, and this is your Express Briefing. All of the stories you need to know to start your day. You can expect a high of 69 degrees under some clouds in San Antonio today. Join the Express News features editor Emily Spicer for a timely conversation with vaccine scientist and tropical disease and coronavirus expert Dr. Peter J. Hotez. We'll have a link to that conversation over at expressnews.com. Our latest episode of the Puro Politics podcast is all about the questions surrounding County Commissioner Trish DeBerry, her public relations firm, and its $175,000 contract with SAWS. Find a link to all of our podcasts over on our website. And now let's move on to the top stories for the day. Bexar County Judge Nelson Wolff and San Antonio Mayor Ron Nirenberg blasted a move by Texas Governor Greg Abbott Tuesday to lift the state's coronavirus restrictions, calling it hasty and dangerous. Public health experts fear the governor's move will be a repeat of last April when he canceled his statewide lockdowns. Within weeks, the coronavirus was spreading uncontrollably across Texas, forcing Abbott to once again shut down bars and scale back restaurant occupancy. Read more about the reaction from local leaders, as well as what Texas lawmakers said about the move in Rebecca Haynes' latest article. While nursery cash registers were busy this past weekend, especially for February, there weren't hordes of gardeners rushing to replace everything in their yard. While many came to buy replacements for potted and bedding plants killed by the brutal cold, others appear to be taking a wait-and-see approach to see if larger shrubs and trees survive the freeze. Even though homeowners may not be panic buying plants like so much toilet paper and hand sanitizer, nursery inventories likely will be tight over the coming weeks, months, or in some cases years, according to Tracy Hazlitt, store manager at Millburgers Landscaping and Nursery. Gardeners who hesitate buying now may not find what they need in the coming months. Find out why over at expressnews.com. 5 years ago, an Austin consulting firm assessed the possible harm that disasters, natural and man-made, could inflict on San Antonio. It recommended that the city-owned San Antonio water system buy generators to back up its pumping stations in case of significant power outages. In a 2015 report commissioned by the city and written with input from the water utility, disaster consulting firm H2O Partners said the generators could prove useful during a calamity caused by a terrorist attack, tornado, or winter freeze. SAWS could keep clean water flowing. SAWS didn't follow the recommendation, a fact made stark 2 weeks ago as record winter weather led to widespread loss of water service. Take a closer look at the decision and the costs involved over at expressnews.com. Columnist Gilbert Garcia writes, quote, "When it comes to the Alamo, the quibbling never stops." We got new evidence of that on Monday when Mayor Ron Nirenberg removed Councilman Robert Trevino from two committees involved in the long, tortured $450 million Alamo Plaza redevelopment project. The Alamo Management Committee and the Alamo Citizens Advisory Committee. Nirenberg's announcement came on the same afternoon we learned that Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick and Land Commissioner George P. Bush had declared a truce in their war over the future of the cenotaph, thereby creating a framework for the Alamo redevelopment project to move forward. Read Garcia's latest column for a history lesson and a perspective on the state of the project. Short supplies and erratic delivery are causing long waits for inoculation. Our vaccine tracker provides the current status on distribution in Bexar County and throughout Texas. All vaccines currently authorized by the FDA require 2 doses and are authorized for people 16 years old and older. Find more vaccine information over at expressnews.com. Next up are your need-to-know headlines. You can find all of these headlines and more inside of your Express News subscription. For the 4th day in a row, officials reported no new deaths from COVID-19. Bexar County's confirmed death toll from the virus now stands at 2,670. Health officials reported 249 new coronavirus cases Tuesday, compared with 288 on Monday. The San Antonio Police Officers Association on Tuesday stepped up its campaign against a ballot initiative that would remove the union's ability to collectively bargain. Read the latest on the initiative, listed as Proposition B on the May 1st ballot. A local campaign employee accused of interfering as an elderly woman filled out her absentee ballot had rows of gift bags that matched the one that she gave the woman, according to warrants. Raquel Rodriguez was arrested on January 13th and charged with 4 felonies. CPS Energy has been hit with a wrongful death lawsuit by the husband of a woman who died during last month's winter storm. Jesus Rodriguez alleges in the complaint that he found his wife, Anne, dead on the bed on February 17th, a day after their home lost power. She was 63 years old. A second defendant has entered a guilty plea in a fraud case that cost the Bank of San Antonio more than $13 million. Joe Martin Alvarado's plea came a week after a San Antonio woman, Phyllis Jo Martinez, also pleaded guilty to conspiracy to commit bank fraud. U.S. Senator Ted Cruz's approval rating took a hit after his family trip to Cancun during the Texas freeze, according to polling by Morning Consult, though he still remains popular amongst Texas Republicans. Omni Hotels and Resorts recently sold its hotel in Northwest San Antonio, one of 5 properties it put on the market last summer. The company had announced plans to sell the Omni San Antonio Hotel at the Colonnade in August. A global computer chip shortage and last month's winter storm in Texas threw off sales in Toyota San Antonio-built pickup trucks in February. But the auto industry has broadly recovered from the pandemic-driven downturn that began last spring. Texas' reliance on the oil and gas industry could jeopardize up to $29 billion in public school funding over the next 15 years, according to a new study by 2 nonprofit policy groups. During the devastating winter blackout in Texas, a conservative group linked the outage to President Joe Biden, claiming that one of his executive orders gave the Chinese Communist Party access to the U.S. power grid. Are these claims accurate? We have a fact check over at expressnews.com. On the UT school song, Mike Finger writes, quote, "When leaders at the University of Texas, including the school president, say they categorically regret the ignorance and hate spewed by a small slice of alumni, it would be nice to believe it." Check out Mike Finger's full column over at expressnews.com. The Express News editorial board writes, quote, "We can't help but wonder how Trish DeBerry, the public relations whiz, would advise a client, say a prominent and outspoken new county commissioner, about the merits of holding a contract with another government entity." Read the take on DeBerry's sauce contract over on our website. The Alamo is showing a sampling of items from the Phil Collins collection that the British rock star has donated to the historic mission and battle site. 5 of the more than 200 items Collins donated for public viewing are on exhibit through April 25th. The exhibit opened Tuesday for Texas's Independence Day. We have everything you need to know and how to plan your visit over at expressnews.com. It wasn't supposed to end this way. The post oak wood was supposed to go out in a blaze of glory, a sacrifice to the gods of barbecue in exchange for a perfect brisket or a show-stopping rack of pork ribs. Instead, it died alone and uncelebrated in a fireplace for mere warmth, a death more fitting for a chopped cedar than post oak of its noble bearing. Read more from Chuck Blount over at expressnews.com. RuPaul's Drag Race winner Bianca Del Rio is returning to San Antonio as part of the Drive and Drag Saves 2021, a touring show that reunites her with the other Drag Race competitors, including Asia O'Hare, Cameron Michaels, and Naomi Smalls. After last year's strong season ended in a controversial first-round playoff exit, a retooled San Antonio FC held its first practice Tuesday with high hopes for 2021. The Spurs' 5-day quarantine in Charlotte last month provided Lonnie Walker with ample time to work on the thinking part of his game. And that's all for today. This was your Express briefing for Wednesday, March 3rd. My name is Luis Vasquez. Please consider becoming an Express News subscriber to get in-depth coverage on all the stories you heard today. Also, be sure to rate and review this podcast inside of your Apple Podcast app, as it really helps the show. Have a wonderful day, everyone.